aircraft is an F-18 at the 90. Stand clear to port catwalk and foul line. Stand by to recover aircraft. This is a drill. Through the ages, it bravely gave it life. Will always break its word. No matter, we'll still follow this song for freedom. The battle rages on.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Caesar with the Battle Rhythm Podcast. I am here live in television, live in color, coming through you. I don't even know where I'm coming to you from. I am coming to you from my home studio this week. We are back once more through the magic of live streaming, television, and everything. So thanks so much for joining us today. Once again, we are here with Voice of the People USA Radio and TV Network. Also through Busey Digital and Patriot Radio, who is very, very excited that we are going to be partnering with them, and they are going to be coming on, getting their own channel here on Voice of the People. So yes, it's exciting times as we are growing as a radio network and also as a TV network. So it is going to be fire. It's going to be so awesome. So, all right. I'm going to tell you right now that I am so happy that we have a very, very special guest tonight. We are being just blessed tonight because this person has been around these acts of let's just say like these really, really great acts as far as like, you know, entertainment, music, anything you think of. This person has been in the midst of it, and I'm a little jealous because she gets to meet all of them every week. And I'm like, I want to meet them, and I don't get to meet them. I'm so broken. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm just a little pricked up. It's fine. All right. So let's get to the show. I want to thank some of my sponsors today. Thank you so much to Texoma Harley Davidson here in Sherman. They are one of my premier sponsors. So thank you, Texoma Harley Davidson. I also want to give a big shout out to EGA Construction out of the Fort Worth area. So thank you, EGA Construction. Scott's Construction out of the Alabama area. They are huge sponsors of ours. So thank you very much for that. Black Sheep Lounge, how could I forget them? They are down in 127 West Main Street in Denison. So if you ever are looking for a classic drink, you know, like the ones the Rat Pack usually drank, which would be, right? They have an outstanding, if probably one of my favorites that I've ever had is the old fashioned, and they smoke them. They smoke them with cherry. Like that's my jam. That's right there is like it's the bomb. So go check them out. They have really great cigars. So it's a really cool place to hang out. So yeah, just hang out over there, 127 West Main Street in Denison. Black Sheep Lounge, established in 2024. All right. Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our interview of the week.
The Battle Rhythm Podcast interview of the week is brought to you by Texoma Harley Davidson. Stop by the station for next week for all of your Harley Davidson needs.
All right, the interview of the week is brought to you by Texoma Harley Davidson. Thank you guys so much for being our sponsor for the interview of the week. And without further ado, I have Sarah McRae, the Tourism and Main Street Manager for the City of Sherman. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you were available to do it. And I know I had to force pretty much like twist your arm to be here late in the evening, because I know it may be late for some, but it will also be very early for others. And there's the ones that are kind of in the mid of their day. So, you know, if you're anything like my wife and daughter, this is the middle of their day.
No, my peak is like 9 or 10 a.m. Like that's the prime time of my day.
Oh, well, you know, this. Do you run on coffee?
I do.
Okay, like how many cups do you usually drink a day?
I mean,
or in the morning, I should say.
The equivalent of about 4, I guess. But
okay. So you leave the house with a cup of coffee, right?
Hmm.
Okay,
I want it
and then
before I see any other humans that day.
okay. So do you have that cup? Like, not yet, not yet. Okay, hold
No,
on. No,
no,
why
it's
not?
just
You
like
should have that. That's a great.
it
Okay,
wants
if
to have
anybody's
like 2
listening,
good sips first before I see anybody else.
yeah, and they're like long sip. Let me
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like it's like I don't know if you're not a smoker. I have a lot of friends that are smokers. Are like it's like the first drag in the morning. It's just like it's the best. I was like, I really that's what you were gonna compare it to, which is fine, but it is. So yes, Sarah McRae is the tourism and mainstream manager. So we're gonna go dive deep into that, what it means to be that. Obviously, the city of Sherman is growing, has been growing steadily for the last 3 years since I pretty much have been here full time. But it has been growing exponentially, and it seems like every year there's always something to do. Right, the community is always involved, and obviously Sarah is in the middle of it. And if anything, she's probably the brains behind it.
I mean, I think you work for the city because you love being part of a team. Like I think that's always the thing. But yeah, it's brought me a lot of joy to get to plan the things that like I grew up in this town and going to all of these events like Hot Summer Nights or Arts Fest or whatever. Like I got to grow up going to those the
Uh-huh.
way your daughter does, and now to put them on in my own hometown is really cool. And we've really made a lot of them into a bigger thing than they even
Right.
were before. So we're trying to like match that growth and give people like the amenities they're expecting when they get to a town like ours. So
How long have you been in this position?
10 years, just about a little
Wow.
under, but just about.
I mean, at this point, you're already a tenured city employee for one. But if you were a college professor, you were tenured. They can't make you leave.
It doesn't work like that at the city, but
I know a guy. Don't worry.
it's ever changing because there's always new council members. They're always restructuring, like where your job falls under. Like good or bad, nothing ever stays the same for long. So it's kind of
Right.
exciting in that way.
Well, the thing is like if you don't have some type of change management, right, or you don't have some type of new ideas,
Yeah.
we really need to stay away from like, well, this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not gonna work.
I hate hearing that phrase because like sometimes things that didn't work 10 years ago could work now for
Yeah.
different reasons. But like, yeah, it's always,
Yes,
we'll bring back things that maybe one set of people
like
didn't
bell
love,
bottoms.
but a new set love. Oh, I wear bell bottoms for all
Oh
time.
my god, no. Just leave
They'll
those
never
back in
go
the
out of
70s,
style.
60s, 70s. Just leave them out and just. But they seem to make a comeback every year. Like I've been in this earth for 47 years, and I've seen them at least 6 times.
Were you at
since-
the Pam Tillis show? She said, "This is the 3rd decade I've worn bell bottoms
Yeah,
in," or something.
yeah.
Like I can't remember what her exact like phrasing
That's
was. but
right.
I was like, she's not wrong.
That's right. So we had talked before, offline and everything, and when the schedule first came out, back in I think April, I think.
Yeah.
When it first came out, and she said, "This is one of my favorite people. I cannot wait to meet to actually see them and everything." And you were talking about Pam Tillis, and I mean she didn't disappoint, right? A lot of the
No,
a lot of
she's
the songs
great.
were a lot of those songs were well, for a lack of a better term, I think they're very biased in a way that they're like there were chick songs, right? Not in a bad way. I'm just saying that they're like, okay, obviously they came from an experience. So I was like, I don't know, I feel kind of outnumbered right now. And every as soon as I turned back and I heard somebody else, I was like, everybody that was singing was all females that were singing. I was like, okay, well we're outnumbered. Can you guys bring someone like I don't know, like a Rodney Dangerfield type of like that, where it's gonna be like,
I feel like, not to dive too deeply into this, but I feel like almost every artist we have in a given year, they're all for the men, but we might have one every other year. It's for the ladies. This year we had 2 that are kind of for the ladies. So we'll have that one, and then we'll have one in July that are like those female empowerment kind of vibes.
Okay, if you're talking about Lisa Loeb, okay. Lisa Loeb, which she's gonna be here July something. I can't remember. I think it's like the week after July the 4th, which is the 4th of July.
Skip a week. It'll be 2 weeks after July 4th. But
Okay.
it's still worth looking forward to.
Yeah. So Lisa Love, like, I mean, she's our age, you know, at least my age anyway. So her song came out like 94, and I was a freshman in high school, and I was like, and when she said the first word, like she said, like, you say, I was like, yep, I did say. I'm like, that's my future ex-wife. And so I said that.
I think I was in 7th grade and I was writing every lyric on my little book cover because back then, you know, put the paper book covers on there.
Right.
You'd write all the song lyrics on or whatever your heart desired. I don't know, whatever people chose.
You would be passing the notes, right? You making the little hearts and like the little four.
Yeah.
Remember that 4 2 whatever it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, we're old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, yeah. So 10 years. In these 10 years, who has honestly, besides Pemtelis, we know this, and you've seen acts from I mean, major acts. Who has been your favorite so far?
So one of my top favorite bands of all time, this sounds silly, but like it was probably, I think they always say the most impactful bands hit you when you were about like 14 or 15. So that, I mean, it tracks, but Fuel just put on the best show, and they played, I think it was their 20th anniversary of their album or something like that. And they played like every song that made them, you know, like made them money probably, but also all their hits. And I'm just a huge fan of theirs. So that one was like personally my favorite, but I've had a ton where I'm really thankful we got to do that show that year. Like we had Joe Diffie the year before he passed away. Like we've had, and I know country means a lot to a lot of people here. While it's not always my personal favorite genre, I like a lot of it, but like I listen to a little bit of everything. But we got to do Beach Boys last year. That was like
that was amazing.
Never thought that would get to happen. And for my dad and I to get to like see that show and meet them and experience that together, that was just like the tops. And Three Dog Night, that was another one where I was like, whoa, like this level of like these hits and this many hits, and it means so much to that many different generations. I think those are some of my favorite shows, are the ones where they're probably what sounds like older for me, but ones I grew up with enjoying. But yeah, it's just, there are a lot of those.
It's great to see, like, you know, there's obviously there is a big different genres that you're trying to bring in, and you know, just to hit different people, right? Or different I would say taste in music, which is great. And you know that there's nothing wrong with that, because you're trying to hit everything subjectively, right? So you have very, you know, not subjectively, objectively, where you know you're able to bring acts that are, you know, for different tastes, you know, different people, obviously brings different crowds. So that's super awesome. The only thing is, people don't realize that, you know, the amount of work that goes into trying to get these people in, right? And then when they do get here, they're like, oh, they have all these, you know, in the contract. Oh, I'm only going to have green M&Ms. You know, you're going to have to separate them and everything. So, to what level do you actually get involved in getting these people in?
So while we get to choose, break down our budget and choose kind of the genre and the acts, like the actual artists that are, I mean, your choice is out of who's touring and who would take an outside show in June or July in Texas. That's already a slimmer choice. But as far as stuff on their rider, that's going to run through the company we use for booking. A lot of these acts, we've reached a level now where it's not like you're calling up your buddy from college to ask him to play a show. These are big bands that only talk through managers. Like, so a regular person isn't going to call these up. I mean, at the level we've reached, thankfully, I mean, it's awesome. But yeah, we use a booking company for that. And they have that buying power where they're buying from multiple cities or multiple venues, and they're getting a better deal. It's kind of like the bundle and save. You might hear advertised, but thankfully as a city, I don't have to know if they asked for something completely inappropriate on their rider, because that's handled by this other company. So Overdrive Entertainment does that for us. And we are thankful for that partnership. And we've worked together all of these years, that the 10 summers that we've done this together have been really great. And they're handle a lot of really super helpful stuff. Like if they're transporting somebody to and from the airport, they might ask, like if we had Mayor Plyler, was our former mayor, was like a huge fan of a couple of these people. So he would get the opportunity to drive them to the airport or take them back. Like, so we get kind of a personal thing when it's appropriate, but
I can't imagine Mayor David Plyer going like, "Oh, I'm gonna be your Uber today." Like, what? The mayor's taking me to the airport?
I know, and I think, oh, the sweet man last, Al Stewart, he drove him to and from the airport, and, he got to have some really fun little conversations with him, and Mignon, his wife, came. I thought that was really cool, so,
So when I
uh
asked him, right, before that was his last Hot Summer Nights last year,
mhm.
and he was like, if anybody, I would have brought anybody, like that would have been the guy. Like that was like one of his favorite songs. I
We
fought for this guy forever. I was like, oh, okay,
we wanted him to get to have a last year of his time, in that position of kind of getting to have it be a little bit of his, dream
right,
list of like
yeah,
who he gets
and
to
it
see that
was.
year.
I
So
mean, Don Felder came,
that
and
show was
then
cool though. That show was I would do that show again. That dude is a rock star. He showed up and played it exactly how you would want him to. Like you knew the songs you were singing along, but he played it like he's been doing it a lifetime, which he has. So
right, and then who else came in last year? Well, shoot, you had AB Quintanilla, which was like that
oh,
was
that
probably
one
your
was
second favorite.
I have begged for a Tejano show for or like some sort of like something different. Like I feel like we hit a lot of the genres pretty good, but
Yeah,
the times we had tried that in the past, we didn't advertise it well. So it was one of those things like we talked about earlier where just because it's been done before and nobody showed up doesn't mean we
yeah,
shouldn't do it again.
yeah,
I don't think we were going about reaching people the right way back then. I think we were just advertising the series as a whole and not spending the budget to reach people week to week where it made sense. And I think
right.
we did a way better job last year. And I mean, Selena in Texas or anywhere was huge, but like to have her brother come and he sang all those songs, like that was
Oh
so
yeah.
cool. So
Well, the fact that they started singing some, obviously he wrote a lot of these songs that he sung, so
yeah,
or produced them, so he's able to use them and however he's fit. But
yeah.
the way that he was able to just kind of connect with everybody, uh, we noticed like on his social media, he's big on Instagram.
Yeah.
Uh, he had the Sherman show or Hot Summer Nights up for almost a month and a half before he even posted any other city because he'd said, I'm gonna go
Well,
here, I'm gonna go
if
here.
you followed his like how I mean, I don't want to say anything wrong, but like I think that he had some negative press because he had kind of
Yeah, and that was
flipped
weeks
out at a
before.
show. And
Yeah, it was
a
weeks
lot of the
before.
shows that followed that I think they canceled on him, getting nervous that they might receive the same version of
Yeah,
him or something. I don't think I ever worried about that for that show. I think if you did that once, like everybody has an off day. Like people
yeah,
have things where they're not feeling like themselves. They're not feeling great about how the day went, whatever. Like they're not expected to be perfect people, I don't think. So I don't know. It's still worth the risk to me. And I think
yeah.
we get the feedback a lot that from almost every artist in every genre that our shows feel so special because you look out and there's full families enjoying it together. It starts like the sun is still out. They don't play a lot of shows like that. A lot of these people play in like
No,
dark bars and they're
yeah.
playing to the same old kind of crowd, drunk and rowdy or something. Ours are family friendly and people are gathered together to like be a part of the community with their kiddos running around. I mean, it's something different to look out and see that to these artists. Like that's a big
Well,
deal to them.
last week, with the All for One show, that was here, they were great, right? Obviously, brought me back to as freshman in high school, my high school years, because they were big at that point. Uh, but it was super hot, and they're like, man, this Texas heat is no joke because they're used to like a dry heat, and I was like, yeah, man, it's the welcome to Texas. This is exactly how it's gonna be,
I
and
know. I think it was the guy that was like their keyboardist. He was like, "I'm from Georgia, so I was ready for this." But like the rest of the
yeah,
the rest of the
yeah,
guys were
exactly.
like, they did not
Well,
look ready, but they handled
yeah,
it well.
their bass player is from like Nashville, I think. He
Yeah,
said
I was gonna say
Nashville.
I looked it up and
Yeah,
it was like Nashville, and they were originally from like Florida because I was just wondering where they came from. To are they ready for this kind of
yeah,
thing? But no, they were all so wonderful. That one was a show that we'd pushed for years, and we were trying to catch them. But I think he even mentioned they were part of like a I love the '90s tour, and so we weren't
yeah,
getting them.
yeah, yeah,
Our schedules just weren't aligning. The money wasn't aligning. Like whatever it was, each year it just wasn't happening.
yeah.
And I was like, last year we were so close that I was like, this year has to be the year. So we went into this year having like 3 or 4 of those names we had been talking about for years, and they just kind of came together this year, which was lucky for us. But Everclear was one of those. Like Pam Tillis, we talked about a lot, but definitely Everclear and All for One, for especially for like me and Nate, we had both really, really wanted that to make the list this year, and we're super thankful they did.
Yeah, I have a couple requests, and actually I have a very good friend of mine who's actually a multi-platinum award winning musician. He has his own band, and his band, and also he is a solo act. So if you ever
Awesome.
need his name, I'll let you know.
I keep a
he's-
spreadsheet of like more local and then the bigger names that we go after. Like
Yeah, you know
year over
this
year.
guy.
They
This
count
guy
on me
is.
for my good notes.
Do you remember? Do you remember Wayne's World?
Yes.
You watched the movie, right? So you remember
Yeah.
when he heard that song? He's all, I don't know what this is. He's like he's playing the song, and you hear Ballroom Blitz, and Tia Carrera's playing Ballroom Blitz, digga 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 digga, Ballroom Blitz. So I'm involved with an organization called People for a New America, and they are a bunch of musicians that actually came together and said, you know what, we need to do something for our veterans. We need to do something for the community. And so they started doing these shows that would benefit veterans. It was actually start getting them mental health. They also did, like, they would help them with some of their bills. They would give them gift cards for them to actually go buy food. And because LA is full of homeless people. Obviously there's a lot of different things out there, but so they started doing that. But they also provide training to get them making back into, so they can actually get a job. And there's a lot of different organizations that have partnered with them to give these services. So I'm now an ambassador of these guys, because they're doing so much for the veterinary community and for the veterans, but also they're doing it for their families, right? Because their families also suffer. So if somebody is suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, not only is the individual suffering, but also the family suffers, because a lot of times, they have these triggers that all of a sudden they're gonna flip a switch, and they're gonna be either violent, or they're gonna be just breaking down and not talking and things like that. So not just the veteran or not the person suffering from PTSD is suffering, but also the family members as well, especially if there's children involved. Right, so they don't get to see them, and that's one thing that we're trying to fight. And the fact that the VA is very slow in getting that type of help, anything outside of that, it's very, very good. So, but yes, he does that, and like I said, he's willing to come out. Just I'll put it like that. Very, very good friend of mine. So if you need that contact, I got you, because their band is pretty cool. It's called The Sweet. The band is The Sweet, who did that song. So the original.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's my tangent. I blacked out. What did I say? So, but anyway, so we'll leave it at that point. But I do want to also thank my other sponsor, the American Legion Riders, Post 231, the MIA Post out in Lake Texoma. They are big sponsors. They are actually sponsoring the website that's currently being designed for the Battle Rhythm podcast. So thank you to the American Legion Riders, ILR Post 231. They are my website sponsors. So thank you to them for doing that. So again, the website is under construction, so you'll be seeing that very, very, very soon. So, all right. So we were talking about your favorite acts that have come here. Who has been your least favorite that you have had to have dealt with?
Oh, I mean, I feel like most of the time it's like not really related to. I mean, these are all like super talented musicians that are doing this for a living, and I like pretty much all music. Like, so it's really less about that. But I've had nights that felt like really hard, where like it wasn't my favorite night, but it wasn't necessarily because of the artist. It was just other stuff going on,
series of events that led to
things
that
you
point.
cannot control. Yeah, I was
Right.
like, that's usually the nights that stand out in my mind as being my least favorite hot summer nights are less to do about the actual like music itself, and more just like I love Lit, the band. I mean, I love alt rock. This is not a surprise to anyone that knows me or has been to these concerts. 90s alt rock is like my favorite genre of all time. and rock in general. But Lit came, and it was like one of our I think it was our last show of a season, and it just this storm started blowing in out of nowhere, and so this like crazy sideways rain, and they just had to play through all their hits like super duper fast, and it was such a disappointment because I was like, oh, this is the last one of the season. We don't even get to like savor it together and like enjoy the show. It was like just like I kind of wished we could like hit the redo button on that one, but no, the show itself was awesome and they were amazing. But that was one where I was like, oh, I hate that it was such a everything was all wet and everybody was all gone. It was just kind of like you look around and you're like, what happened? Like, is it over? Like, that one was wild. And then, of course, the one that I refer to as like lightning on the lake. That was not great. Anything that feels like, you know, you didn't have control over the things that happen. And yes, we made like a million changes after that year, but people having to leave their cars in a field is never my idea of a good time. In this,
that was with Cheap Trick, right?
Yeah. And Cheap Trick was one at that time that was kind of like the biggest band, like especially like money wise, the biggest band we had ever had. So it was extra disappointing when this weather came in and we got just like that terrible gap of like the craziest storm I've ever just hung out in, like outside. I mean, I've never just stood out in a storm like that and like hoped for the best, like next to a giant lightning rod, just hanging out, you know, working. So that wasn't great.
I was stuck in I was in Syria at that time because well, then
I won't complain about being stuck in a wet concert.
So like my wife is calling me, right? Like because she's volunteers for this. So she's like, hey, I'm gonna go and help out, and I'm gonna park over there, and it's gonna be like this. And the weather was fine. Like it was like, oh, it was nothing to it. And all of a sudden it just turned like, wild. And she's calling me. She's like, I had to leave the car. The I think one of the cops had to get me out or whatever. They had to bring me home. I'm like,
no. By the time we knew it was gonna hit, like when we finally saw this show up on the radar, it was like everyone was already in the park.
Yeah.
And there's no great exit plan, especially when it rained that much for the cars that had parked. Because this other field, like we call it like parking lot 4, I think. But we usually reserve that for like the big trucks and SUVs. But people were so excited to like get in there and see the show, they just parked there willy-nilly. And so some smaller cars were in there that shouldn't have been. And that was before the year, like right after that happened, we paved 2 different exits with rocks and gravel so you can get in and out. And like we made a lot of, changes to our plans and our emergency plans and exit plans. And like we made so many changes that year because of that. So I won't say, like, I hate that it happened, but we had a lot of growth following that year as far as our but we loved, the way everybody came together and worked as a team and got people to their cars safely. Like we had golf cart transports going in every direction. Everybody was working like a well-oiled machine, but also I hope it never happens again. Hang on while I touch wood over here. Got to knock on something.
It's funny because my next door neighbor before they moved, I don't know if you ever met him, but he actually started working for the city. I think after, like, literally right after that, and he took my wife back to pick up the car because he had left it overnight, and he brought her home because they were there. So I think he was volunteering, and I think he came back and dropped her off and then took her over there to pick up that car, and she's like, I couldn't even get into the car because it was so muddy. I was like, well, it's what happens usually when a big rainstorm comes. And it just, I was actually bummed because Cheap Trick is one of my favorite bands. They have like really good songs that I really enjoy.
Well, they got to play 6.5 of them, so you missed it.
I know, I did. I was like, I think I was more bummed at the fact that I didn't even get to meet them. I was like, dang it. That was like one of the ones that I would have loved to, because I remember watching it was an 80s movie actually. God, it'll come back to me. I think it was Fast Times at Ridgemont High that came out, and they're like it'll come back to me anyway. Yeah, so they were playing. I was like, oh my God, I love that song. And I would have loved to like have met him and everything. And she's like, well, you didn't miss much because it was raining and everybody had to leave. I'm like,
yeah, it was like 6 or 7 songs. That was so that year was so depressing, but also, it's like we're better for it now, but it's like that I hate that we had to anything that ever like feels like it puts public safety or like people in a position that I don't want them in is never my favorite. Anything.
And they got played really well for 6.5 songs.
They sure did, you know. But
Oh man.
we've had a couple things like that come up, but thankfully, like usually it's just blazing hot. So we put that in the name. We get you ready with hot summer nights. We already warned you. So
Yeah, exactly right.
that
Yeah,
part usually it's just hot, and like the sun goes down, and then it's lovely, and you get to enjoy a free concert with your buddies. Like that's a fun time. So
just wait till wait till July. It's gonna be super damn hot, and
Yeah.
then like August. And we don't go into August too much, but all of July is gonna be like, all right,
No.
humidity is gonna be just ridiculously stupid. So,
always you can count on that.
all right. So we've come to the part of the show where we're gonna take a little break. I am going to invite you guys to come back. It's gonna be a quick 2-minute break. And I want to play you guys a couple of videos that a couple of commercials that are actually really, really good. But when we come back, we're going to keep talking to Sarah about hot summer nights, a couple other topics, and because there's so much more than hot summer nights for the city of Sherman. So many more events that she actually does, and things that are going to be planned in the future, and things that may be coming back from the past. So we don't know. But when you come back, you're listening to the Battle Rhythm podcast here on Voice of the People USA Radio and TV Network, BUC Digital, and Patriot Radio. And when we come back, like I said, we are going to be talking to Sarah, and we're going to be maybe, I don't know, maybe asking her some interesting questions. You'll never know what'll pop up. Like I said, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Why do 90% of regulars say the Black Sheep Lounge just feels different? Is it the hand-picked cigars, the signature cocktails, or the warm, welcoming crowd? Let's find out what makes this place a true Denison gem. At the Black Sheep Lounge, we believe in celebrating the finer things without the fuss. Our walk-in humidor is stocked with premium cigars for every palate, from those discovering their first smoke to lifelong aficionados. But we're more than cigars. Our bartenders craft old fashions the old-fashioned way, rich, smooth, and perfectly balanced every time. What really sets us apart? It's the atmosphere. Picture low lights, plush chairs, and a community that welcomes newcomers and regulars alike. Whether you're looking to unwind after work, catch up with friends, or just enjoy a quiet moment, you'll find your spot here. So, swing by 127 West Main Street and see why the Black Sheep Lounge is downtown Denison's unique hideaway. Pull up a chair, light up, and raise a glass with us. You belong here. When it comes to your home, don't settle for good enough. Choose the crew who lives by integrity and excellence. Here in Dallas-Fort Worth, EGA Construction is a veteran-owned and operated company, meaning discipline, dedication, and honesty aren't just buzzwords, they're our way of life. With over 25 years of experience, we take pride in delivering on time and on budget every single time. From stunning remodels to steel buildings to tenant finish-outs, EGA is your one-stop shop for all things construction, because you deserve a partner who listens, communicates, and stands by their word. We're not just building spaces, we're building trust. Our team's military background means sharp attention to detail, transparent process, and a relentless commitment to your satisfaction. And as proud sponsors of the Battle Rhythm podcast, we keep our ties strong with the veteran community, because service doesn't stop with us, it continues in everything we do. Ready to work with a team that treats your home like their own? Choose EGA Construction, where precision meets passion.
Welcome back to the Battle Rhythm podcast. I am Caesar, and I'm here joined with Sarah McRae, who is a tourism and Main Street manager for the city of Sherman. So, yeah, Black Sheep Lounge. I keep telling you guys about this. This is a hidden gem in Denison. I know it's not Sherman, but it's in Denison. I'll tell you what, it's a hidden gem. Make sure you go see them and tell them that you heard about them through the Battle Rhythm podcast, because they might actually give you a little deal. I don't know, a little something. So, well, go check them out. If you're looking for a cool thing to do on a Friday night, Thursday night, Tuesdays they have poker on Tuesdays, so it's pretty cool. Sarah, did you know that June is PTSD Awareness Month and also suicide prevention?
I did. I saw that, like some really sad looking stats like today on how many there had already been this year, and it's just more
so
than
it's
you
been
ever want it to be.
Exactly. So, obviously you've heard, my show is a veteran show. And obviously, we try to fight the stigma of PTSD. We try to fight the stigma of suicide, but there's always that lurking number that per day. Do you know what that number is?
22.
22 a day. Yeah, correct. So
I had a veteran friend really involved with Mission 22.
Right.
So I was like, that's the only reason. Normal people
Well,
probably don't know that. Unfortunately, but they
correct.
should. Cause
Correct. It's a term. That's why 22 a day. We always say it, right? So, with that said, I know it's a kind of a somber feeling that I need to share, but I'm going to share this story with you guys. A friend of ours that we play at the VFW. We play pool. They've been patrons there at the VFW for a while here in Sherman. On Mother's Day, she gets a call. Then her son took his own life a day. He was active duty Air Force. He was in I believe Nellis Air Force Base, which is in Las Vegas, and he did that on Mother's Day. So that was not the best Mother's Day present she ever wanted to hear, right? So the thing is that we had talked about people, right? As far as it's not just that person that's being that's the victim, right? Or for lack of a better term, a victim that suffers, right? It's everybody else that suffers behind it, right? So he has a 10-week-old daughter right now who is about to be 3 months, right? That left behind. And so what's happening is this Saturday, June 26th, will be a memorial, a first annual actually benefit pool tournament that's going to be happening here at the BFW in Sherman. So I want to share you guys a little something that that did not come up on my thing. So it's fine. It's fine. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to share with you guys this little thing with Jacob. It is no, it's got numbers on there. Can't share that. Anyway, I will share it later when I download it. But it's going to be this Saturday, starting at I believe noon, and the first games are going to start at 1. There's going to be a silent auction, so please make sure you guys can come and benefit. It's going to be a 50-50. So 50-50 is going to be going into the pool for the players, right? So if they win the tournament, they'll get the 50%, but the other 50 is going to go to the a trust fund that is being set up for the daughter. I believe her name is Hazel, and it's very important to the family that she gets something, because it's still an ongoing case. Nothing has been determined or anything like that. So unfortunately, I don't have very many details, because there's not very many details other than what I just shared with you. So please come out, visit them, sponsor them, and like I said, there's going to be a silent auction. There's going to be barbecue. There's going to be, I believe they're going to have a band as well. So let's see. Yep. So it's $30 entry, and it's 50% payout. The winner's side 8-ball straight race to 3. The loser's side 9-ball straight race to 3. 2 side pots, high side and low side, and then also signups, like I said, start at 12. Start time is at 1, and then live music from. Hey, I want to take notes on this one, Sarah. Jake Murphy. He will be there from 3.
It's like he's good.
He's going to be there from 3 to 5, and like I said, there's going to be live music, barbecue plates, silent auction, and it's going to be at the BFW in Sherman, 1707 East Baker Road in Sherman. So, like I said, it's going to be the first annual Carter Wines benefit tournament, and all the proceeds are going to go to the trust fund for his daughter Hazel. So make sure you guys come out and support and kind of help out the family that they're going through obviously a hard time. The person that spoke to me was actually the mother of this young man. He was actually in the Air Force. He had just I believe he's like 22, maybe 21, 22. So he's still young, still had a full life ahead of him. And PTSD is a real thing. There's a lot of depression, obviously, that comes with it. And so he was suffering from that, and nobody knew. And there was some, obviously, it happened. So, all right. So, yeah, that's for that. So I apologize for bringing it down a little bit, but like I said, I believe it's important for the community to come together and and help out others that are in need. And like I said, it's going to help out the trust fund of this young child to be able to attend college and have something set up for her. So that's why I share it. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'm actually very impressed the fact that you knew 22 a day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm impressed.
I'm a big advocate for mental health and like making, taking away the stigma of talking about it and helping as many people as you possibly can. Like if your life hasn't been impacted by it, then you are one of the
Right.
very lucky few. So that's all we can do. Be a friend to people, talk about it more, help as many people
Exactly.
as we can.
Exactly. And it's one of those things like you just have to be very connected in the way that it's you have to serve your community. I'm sorry, you just do, right? Because if you don't serve your community, then what good are you doing? You definitely have to be involved. And I always tell everybody to get you involved. Like if you're going to complain about something, then get involved. Don't complain. Get involved and try to change the things that you cannot change or that you're just always complaining about. There's no reason why you can't get in there and then get involved and be a good steward of your community, be a good citizen, and just do what your civic responsibilities, kind of carries out. So, all right, that's my soapbox, and I'm getting off of it. All right, that's a show. No, I'm kidding. All right, so let's talk about some of these things that you guys are having. So, not obviously, Hot Summer Nights is your premiere shows and the biggest season of the year, right? But
I mean, it's my favorite thing we do all year, but it is by no means like I would say April is super busy getting ready for Hot Summer Nights. But honestly, once Hot Summer Nights starts rolling along, like Thursdays are busy, but like it's not, unbearable. Like it's not that difficult every week to keep it trucking. But yes, the busy season for me is the fall because there are just loads of things happening. We've got Sherman Arts Fest. I think this is our
Mhm.
43rd season. Gosh, I might be misspeak. I don't have anything like that in front of me, but it has been around longer than I have been alive, believe it or not. And
Oh wow,
making that into an event that people still want to go to. And I think we have more vendors than it's ever had. Like every year, I'm like, how can I fit more people in this area? But we do. So we have all these amazing handmade items and things that are unique. They're not, reselling stuff from the internet. It's,
right?
art and art based and very special items. Our farmers market are incorporated into that as well. But we have like 2 stages of music and performance of that. And it's just a full day of excitement. Art show inside of the ballroom put on by Sherman Art League. And then we've got our youth art show on that stage. And I mean, the artwork for that will be due soon. So have your daughter start her painting now because like it'll be due by like pretty soon before we know it. So start working on
She
those over the summer.
she is pretty artistic in the way, right? In that way. But
Yeah.
I think she's more artistic in the performing part of it. Right.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think
Hold on. I can
so.
see something from where I'm sitting. Like this is not my home office. This is my couch. So this is my son's drawing. I could see from here, and I think it's Chicken Jockey from the Minecraft movie. I don't think he'll be entering this one, but I do have one of those little kiddos that's kind of always drawing and painting and whatnot. So
Yeah. And you don't want to break their spirit with that. You know what I mean? Like you have to that I'm telling you, like
so good.
right? You just have to be like be like but it evolves obviously with age, right? Just like our handwriting evolves through time. I remember seeing like stuff that I was writing in first grade. I'm like, God, that's awful, And then now I see it now. I'm like, it's still crap. It's not even good at all. So, but other than that, it just you have to be supportive of what they want to do, right? Obviously, for me, art was big. I loved being able to express myself in ways that not very many people can do, right? Because learning how to play an instrument and I wasn't a band geek. I was actually I was in a band. I played drums in a band during high school. I was like, who needs to be in the band? But in the same turn, I was in choir. I was a choir kid. So yeah.
Me too.
So I did that. It got to the point where I loved performing, and it was just so much fun. It was such a thrill. Obviously, you get to that, that those butterflies, you get so nervous, and then after you get to it, you're like, it's fine. I'm still gonna be alive by the time I'm done. It's done and over with, So.
Well, and then you miss
fun.
that feeling, and you want to do it again. Like it's like a fun nervous usually.
Yes,
for people that enjoy it.
And now all we do is karaoke.
Yeah, now we live out our dreams through karaoke.
Exactly, because that reverb will kill your you're off key.
It's like that is our musical outlet. Hot summer nights and karaoke at the VFW. So
that's right.
Come join
so,
us.
yes, it's every other Saturday night at the VFW for the next 2 weeks. They're gonna be off, but they'll be back on July 12th, something like that. Yeah, something like that. I think the third week, so it'll be fine. But I wanted to ask you. So we had just mentioned about your busy season and everything like that. So walk us through like a week. Like obviously, this whole week is you're gearing up to actually having the Eli Young Band this weekend, this Thursday. So what is it like? Obviously, you already know who's coming next. The next week, and how do you prepare for the week? Like what goes on through the first 3 days up until you actually get on stage, or they get on stage?
Yeah, I mean, usually we're kind of going back and forth with, like, for example, sometimes they stay here, sometimes they don't want to stay here. So if we booked their hotel rooms, we're confirming those, we're getting them those confirmation numbers, we're kind of getting like the day of show sheet to figure out when they're going to do load in and sound check. But we have wonderful teams of people, including our own city staff, like Albert's out there during the day to make sure everything goes smoothly. But Cadence Studios handles all of our sound, and Overdrive Entertainment kind of handles getting the entertainment happy and to us and in one piece and whatnot, unless assuming we don't want to drive one of them to or from the airport. I'm just kidding. That is not the norm.
That's why you got David Plyler to do that.
Usually they've done a very professional transport, but like every now and then it comes up where it's something personal might be appropriate. But yeah, so like today they decided they'd rather stay in Dallas because the next show they're doing like comes in late. Like sometimes it's not in the cards for them to sleep here in Sherman, and that is okay. But usually we try to put them here when we can. And I think everyone else this season did stay here, but this band in particular will not be staying here in Sherman with us. But we had to let some of those rooms go today. But then that just leaves more for our out of town guests to.
Well, we don't have a hotel anymore. I mean, the Days Inn, they just closed it.
You shouldn't. No comment, but that is not where we were sending our bands to stay.
I know. Well, actually, they had a really good bar.
But we do have the ones, the hotels we utilize are typically there over closer to like the Starbucks next to, 82 and 75 intersection where there's 3 hotel brands like side by side. We usually use those, like switch around who we use each year, but out of those 3, that's who we typically use. But after come fall, I think we even have our new one will be open. So the Courtyard Marriott is looking like it will finally join us, and we are so excited to even have some new partners to longer.
Well, I've been here for 5 years, so
okay.
I'm only counting the 5 years that I've been here. So,
Well, it did have some struggles, and then I think 2020 threw us all for a loop. So I think it pivoted, and it's finally almost ready to open up, which is exciting. So we are looking forward to that, because what we didn't mention is a lot of the money we use to book these shows comes from hotel motel tax funds, and that's like when people come in town and they stay in our Sherman hotels. We make money off of that from the out-of-town guests that goes into this pool of money that we use to book these shows. So if we're doing our jobs properly, then we're bringing in more people the next year to stay in the hotels. And then we get to book, then that's a bigger pot of money that we get to use the next year. So we want there to be new hotels. We want people to stay in Sherman. Those are all like really exciting things to everyone in the community. If they want to keep seeing good music happen, then make sure they're staying here. And, Hilton Garden Inn is just like a little, it looks like it's Sherman, but it's not. It's Denison. So just make sure if your friends or family are coming for the Sherman shows that they're staying in Sherman. That would make us really happy. So
yes. So the Courtyard.
That's my little tourism plug.
There you go. Yeah. So there, exactly. Please come share with us.
Just stay in Sherman. That's all I'm saying.
In Sherman.
I mean, they can stay at your house, but if they're going to stay in a hotel, stay in Sherman.
Okay, well, if they're gonna stay at my house, they're gonna stay up in the attic because I just don't have any room in the house.
You're not a
Uh,
spare
I,
bedroom kind of
I,
family.
my spare bedroom is the office, and I don't have an actual bedroom to share, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, don't sleep in your room. That's weird.
yeah, no, I mean, and I doubt that Sophia is gonna give up her room. You know what I mean? She
No,
just
you let
wouldn't.
that little girl have whatever she wants. She's the best kiddo ever. Like, I
That
can't wait to see what she does with her future. She's such
I
a good
try,
kid.
I try to be very objective, and like I'm like, okay, you need to be like not regimented, right? Like you're gonna do this, this is, but I try to have like some type of structure where she's like, okay, you need to go to bed by this time, because tomorrow's gonna be this and that, right? So I I'm outnumbered. Let's just say that I'm outnumbered 2 to 1 because she's straight and right away goes to mom, and mom will be like, "Oh, she's fine. She'll be." I'm like, "Okay, well, just know I don't want to hear it tomorrow when she starts complaining, or you start complaining in the fact that she didn't get up. So I don't want to hear it. The next morning." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Trust me, you will find out." And she's like, she rarely says you were right, but she was I was right.
Yep, it happens.
I don't know. So, I don't know. It's a 7-year-old is like a 30-year-old sometimes, and I'm like, okay, here we go. It is what it is. So, but besides that, it's great being the only male in the family, because I'm outnumbered all the time. So, I'm sure. I'm sure you. I know you're outnumbered as well, right?
The opposite way, but I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you're still right, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you still get treated the way that it should be treated, right? Where you're like everything is gonna
Yeah.
be, you
Well,
get your
and
way
little
regardless.
boys love their mamas, so I was like, that's really lucky,
Yeah, I'm not
for
saying
me.
that. I'm not saying that bad at all. I'm just saying like it's just it's it's gonna be a little bit of a different experience, right, for him as it is for my daughter. So
For sure.
obviously she gets what she wants because she's like she got to do just those eyes. But I to me sometimes those eyes don't work, and then they work with her mom a lot more than they do with me. So I'm like, it's what happens. That's what you wanted, but it's fine. All right. Uh, gosh, we're talking about your busy season and your fall, and
Mhm.
everybody just thinks that the Sherman is all they do is just the hot summer nights, but you really have other. We talked about the art festival as well, but you also have other things that you actually try to put for the community, right? One of them
Yeah.
being the Halloween. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a
We
parade,
are
but
so we are pivoting from that specific event. Yeah, I was like, we've done that a lot of years, but it kind of grew what could be held in that little area of downtown. So
right.
we'll actually have a different event in the month of October to kind of replace that one. But I think it'll be even better. But we haven't made that announcement yet. So you're breaking news. But
Breaking news. That's
also
right.
we do like about 6 haunted history tours every October. And
Uh-huh.
this year we hope to have, I mean, I think the trolley will be finished by then. So we're kind of looking at also adding, it's always a walking tour, but this year we have the opportunity to make it a trolley tour. So like we could go a little further. So some of these stories we didn't include originally because they were a little too far away for walking distance.
Uh-huh.
Now you get to take the trolley. So those are ticketed events, but they kind of help us to get to do more cool stuff through Main Street in the future. So if we do sell tickets to be able to pay our tour guide and then to be able to do more projects and more events in downtown so people can enjoy more of it. But those are always really popular and we look forward to doing those every year. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing I do all year long is our Christmas parade. I was like, your wife has helped us, your whole family pretty much, but
Yeah.
that
I mean,
because I was like,
I haven't
Sophia is
volunteered.
very helpful.
I have
But
never volunteered. I've been voluntold. There's a big difference
yeah,
on that, right? So, and she's
man,
like, "Oh, you don't bring me this." I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "I'm not even working." I'm
Christmas
like, I got to
Christmas is
talk to the
so
man and see if
wonderful.
I know, but I was like, I
But it's
talked to you. I was
wild.
like, I was like, let me talk to the city manager because I'm gonna start getting some comp time, and that comp time is gonna go to you, so we can actually take some vacation time. Damn it! So
No.
I still have to have the
If I were gonna
conversation.
take a vacation, when would that be? No, I'm just kidding. I just always feel like there's always something going on. I never, want to miss or
Is
like
it okay?
leave
So
anyone hanging.
when is your vacation? Your downtime?
So I've historically most years gotten to take some time like after we do our Christmas events. So like kind of like that second half of December is usually when I take some time and recharge, hang out, but I don't typically go anywhere. I mean, I might go
Oh.
enjoy events around Sherman, but for the most part, I'm just spending time at home with my son and cats and watching the Hallmark movies.
Yeah, we were talking about that
It's the
earlier.
only, I know, I was like,
Is
that was
that
before we
like
started.
your guilty pleasure? What is your guilty pleasure? Is that like the Hallmark movies?
No, I feel like I mean, like you see the parts, like I love like kind of not trashy TV, but like Bravo, like anything that kind of like
Oh,
Southern Southern Charm, like those kinds of shows
are you
bring
the
me joy.
housewives type of person?
Depends on I love Atlanta and I love like specific locations, like certain cities, but not all of them. I can't just say I love all of them because I don't. Some are too much yelling. I need them to be
So,
able to kiki and have a good time together or I don't want to watch it.
did you see the one Housewives of Orange County, which was the first one, the original one? You ever see that one?
So I've seen bits and pieces, but I didn't watch it back then. But whenever I was at home after I had like, this is a funny story, but like after I had given birth, I was like up, feeding him in the middle of the night, and I
Yeah.
started watching just whatever was on. And so I watched some of those old ones, and it blew my mind because I had named my son Slade, thinking it was like super original, and one of the husband's name was Slade Smiley, and I was like, what? Like I thought I'd chosen this like super original name. Nope. There was a Slade on the Housewives. So apparently if I had watched that first, I would have known.
Yeah, right. You're like, I should name him Blade.
No, no, we wanted the alliteration. The Slade Smith was like we
Oh
really
yeah,
needed that.
that's cool. So, all right. So we'll talk about those a little bit later on the show because there's a something that we usually do at the end of the show. So, but as far as what is the most rewarding thing that you've been able to, besides meeting all these people, right? All the other acts and so. What is the most rewarding thing about your job that you love so much?
There's been a few years of different events where like when the day just goes really well, you just get to see all these people having a really wonderful time together and like enjoying these events that like because a lot of times you work so hard on them and then like maybe like the comments online or like oh leave
Uh-huh.
your feelings hurt or something. That's always a downer, but when you see it like in real life, you're there, you're not looking at the internet, you're just there enjoying it. Like I have had like a parade, a Christmas parade end where I was just like teared up because it made me so happy that like
Uh-huh.
all these people were there and enjoyed it that much and all came together in a way like that. And then there's always the relief of it being a safe event. It's over, it
Right.
went well. Like that's always obviously a bit of a relief, but like I would say most of the time it's just the being able to bring people together and when people like tell you what it means to them any given season to see like specific artists, but more than that to have something. There's so few things in life where there's like no expectation of spending money or like you're just there because the community chose to give you this gift. Like that's really nice that our city continues to do that and that they want to pay me to help make that happen. That is amazing. Like I
Right.
love that we have a city that prioritizes stuff like this, like that wants to bring people together, that wants to say this is still important to us here. Like that does not happen everywhere and it's a
Right.
big deal. And I'm proud to be from here, excited that they choose to continue these things and like
Yeah.
prioritize them. That's a big deal. So and it's different sets of council each year that are choosing to continue it in this way. So I mean like that's really a huge deal that I don't think most people realize. Like
So the one thing that I've really noticed, and nothing against David Plyler, don't get me wrong, and he has, he's still very family oriented and everything, and the contrast between him and our current mayor, Sean Tiemann, is that Sean has very very young kids, right? So
mhm.
that's still that focus of family focus is still very good, and it's probably going to be for quite some time because his kids are so young. So going from that transition as far as a family, because it was still family oriented with David. However, we're going to continue that with Sean, because his kids are still 7-8 years old, so they're
And
going to
I
be
think,
pretty good.
and maybe the public saw less of that with David, but I would agree that they are both very much like family dudes, because like
Yes.
David's kids were not closer to my age. I feel like they were a lot younger, than me, but they were. So he had grandchildren like coming
Yeah.
in at
Yeah.
that time. So I mean, I think it was probably a good time for him to, because they were little but growing so fast. So him and Mignon and the 3 kids that they had raised that were full grown humans, like these older
Yeah.
daughters are now getting married and having like the things we got to see him do in his like tenure with us. Like we got to watch them like get married and have families of their own. And so I was like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I hope for him and Mignon that they are getting to spend like even more time with those grandbabies, because like that's kind of the coolest part of life. Like you already did it all, now you get to be cool
Exactly.
grandparents. So
I didn't. I
I
hadn't
I
seen
think
them in a while.
they all have like such different strengths, but like I love that. I don't know, the people here choose really well for us. Like we've gotten really lucky. Like I don't know what all happened in the past, like as far as different
Yeah.
mayors. I'm sure they've all been pretty great, but like the 2 that I've gotten the chance to work with are like, it's the dream. Like they have different strengths, but like really fun priorities, and especially Sean really
Exactly.
wanting to dive in and be involved. We've been doing these segments called Main Street with the Mayor, and we get to go to all these different downtown businesses and interview these business owners. And it's not a formal interview. It's really just like what might you not get to tell somebody? Like if somebody came in your store, you don't get to share your whole story about why you named your business that, or like
Yeah.
what you're like, I guess what your goals were for your business when you opened it and what you sell there. Like we let them really like dive deeper into it, and we make them
Yeah.
like kind of like a little commercial, but really we get to selfishly, we get to know more about what they're doing and share it with people, which is just really cool. So I
Exactly.
don't know.
And you get to know uh Sean the man, not Sean the mayor, that type of
And he
thing.
wasn't brand new. That's the coolest part. Like, I mean, like I started this job in January of 2016, and he was on council like at that same time. David was the mayor at that time. So I mean, I've gotten to work with Sean this whole time anyway. So it's like he's not
Right.
new. None of these city topics are new to him. He's been a part of all these decisions already. So we got really lucky getting somebody who didn't have to be like, well, here's what's going on. Here's the history of that. Like he already knew. Like so, a lot of it he gets to dive in a little deeper, and definitely takes up a lot of his time. I hope people realize how much of
Yeah.
his time he gives us, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like when I get his schedule to try to book something for him, like it's just there's no. I'm like, well, will 2 Tuesdays from now at 10 a.m. work? Because like it's wild. Like they ask a lot
Yeah.
of him. So
Exactly. So I added something to his calendar, and he's more than happy to. He was more than happy to come, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like it sounds now. I was like, I tell him like, it sounds suspicious. He's like, no, it's not. But the last Friday of the month, there's 2 events that happen at the VFW. And this one is a brand new one. The second one has not. It's been there for the last 10 years. The first one is actually that we're starting out. It's called Coffee with a Vet. It starts this Friday. It's going to be at 9 o'clock at the VFW here in Sherman, and it's just going to be having some coffee, talking to other veterans here and there, and I invited Sean. I was like, hey man, how would you like to come and do this? He's like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm like, okay, make sure you bring the donuts. Uh, and so he's gonna come and actually be part of that, because he says he definitely likes to be get involved within with the community.
he's our fit mayor. You can't ask a guy that cycles and owns a gym to bring you donuts to that.
Okay, vets are no longer like fit. Okay, we did our time and we did what we had to do, and now we're just
I
enjoying
know,
life.
but you're gonna be teasing Sean with these donuts, and he tries to eat really clean. You're
Yeah,
gonna mess with
okay.
him.
Yeah, okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'll tell him to his face, no, I know you're gonna eat a donut. You don't lie. Don't tell me. No, I see you. Which is fine. I mean, the public persona is different than the outside. I'm not knocking at him at all. I'm just giving him a hard time. But yeah, so it's gonna be this at 9 o'clock, and then at 1 o'clock, or sorry, at noon, the second event for the day at the VFW. It's called Texoma Hero. This month is going to be a one of our VFW members, post members. Jim Winslow is going to be the what's this month? June 2025 recipient of the Texoma Hero Award, and they're going to do the ceremony that day at noon, from noon to 1. And so yeah, it's going to be a pretty busy day on that day. So you're all invited to come. It's between 12 and 1, like I said, for the Texoma Hero ceremony, and then at 9 o'clock would be the coffee with a vet. So the coffee with it, it's going to be every fourth Friday of the month. So the last Friday of the month, it's going to be when it's going to be. So you're all welcome to come. It's like coffee with the mayor, but it's coffee with a vet. So it'll be fun. Great topics to be had, and you might learn something. You might actually get to meet some people too, like this gentleman
this
here.
Friday, it sounds like you get coffee with the mayor and the vet, so all in one day.
Is it this Friday for coffee with the mayor?
Well, is that when you're like when you're doing your own coffee with the vet, you get coffee with the vet and our mayor.
And the mayor, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there. Yeah, exactly. I'm just putting it out there. Like just do a coffee with the mayor at the VFW. I mean, you're gonna have vets there all the time, and they're gonna talk.
It travels. Downtown Sherman now puts that on, and it travels to all their members' locations, so it benefits their members, which is they're hustling for downtown businesses, which is awesome. So
yeah, we're a little bit off the beaten.
Can't have it at a stationary location. You got to travel. If the VFW joined downtown Sherman now, then potentially you could have one there.
We're off Broadway. we're not in downtown. We're off Broadway. Like way off Broadway.
Bob Utterford is a member. We have had downtown Sherman now events like a coffee with mayor at Bob Utterford. That's on Parkway. So just saying.
They bring the coffee and the GT1. Yeah, and they have Ford GT. I'm just saying, I've seen it. So it's fine. But yeah, that's what's happening this Friday. Obviously, this Thursday, Eli Young Band. I'm excited about this one. I actually like the Eli Young Band, and it's not Eli Young, right? It's Eli and Young. So it's part of one guy is Eli and the other guy is Young. So it's two names in one. But people are like, oh, it's Eli Young. It's one guy. No, it's two people.
Yeah, he's not a dude. It's a group of dudes.
That's right. I'm just saying, but I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. It starts at what time does it start again?
So Greg Guyman will go on at 7, and he usually plays with Laney Guest, and sometimes he brings on Sawyer Guyman, his son, and they do the little opening piece from like 7 to 7:30, and then by 7:40, Eli Young Band will take the stage. So if you're one of those that sets your chair out early and then goes and explores downtown, I know 903 Brewers, the new location in downtown Sherman, is having a one of those chamber meetup, like it's like a regional evening event, Unplugged, I think. I can't remember the actual name of it, but that part's not important. You could just show up there between like 4:30 and 6:30, I think. And then of course we've got the Post, the Maloo, like we've got so many different places, Ash and Barrel downtown, and so you could find get some dinner at La Piazza. We got a lot of choices. So you could go enjoy air conditioning and then go back and then go back and but pack your cooler, bring your blankets, lawn chair, hang out, sweat a little with us, but really enjoy a really awesome free concert. So
yeah, exactly, free. That's the key word, free.
It is
free. So and then the week after that, I think everybody's really looking forward to this one. Last year, the Lights at the Lake was probably the biggest concert we had, right? We had almost
15,000 people.
Yeah. And it's because the Beach Boys were in town. Mm-hmm. Now we are serving Gen X. Gen X is going to be the big winner this year. Last year was the Boomers. Boomers, get out of the way. Gen Xers are coming through this year. We are actually, the city is actually hosting Stone Temple Pilots. They'll be here on July 3rd. Exactly. That show is going to start. What time should people start getting here on that during that day? Because I know it's going to be, obviously the parking is going to be crazy. So you have to account
It's always better for that show. I mean, the gate to the park opens at 4. So I would say as soon as you get off work, just kind of like round up your people, your stuff, get out there. Like nobody wants I think in their minds they're like, oh, if it doesn't start until whatever, it's hot, I'm going to wait till later to get out there. But the problem with that is we don't want you to be one of those people like sitting in your cars and not being like, oh, why can't I get parked and get inside? It's because that would be the busiest time. You want to like we want you to trickle in a little bit more than that. So come in as early as you can just to try to beat the crowd, and then you don't have to be sad or complain about it.
Exactly. So
You
it'd be
just get
fun.
to move right in. Yeah, I was like, it'll be great. But yeah, we are currently doing a contest. We had 33 really awesome anthem. Like we had people try out to sing the anthem, so
Is it closed?
they could enter. Yeah, they could enter this contest and post their videos. And so now all those videos are up. It's on madrock102.5.com, but there's the link on our Facebook page. So Hot Summer Nights Facebook page. You can go click that link, look at all of them, but not just look at them. You get to vote one time a day for your favorite anthem singer, and that person will open up this show for us with the national anthem. So we've got a couple of I saw a really talented kiddo who played it just like beautifully, but on his like electric guitar, and he's a junior in high school. Like, so really talented kiddos, actual singers, like all kinds of stuff. So 33 really talented humans.
Am I
Caesar, I'm sorry. You now can only vote for the ones that are already on there. It closed Sunday. So,
and the worst part about it is there's probably a conflict of interest. So I was probably already out anyway, so I couldn't even join. So that's
I mean,
biased,
Billy will kill me, but he sent the funniest. It is a video of him singing the national anthem. But for a second, I was like, "Oh my gosh, tell me you posted this on the page," but he didn't. He just sent it as like a joke. Yeah, it's so wonderful though. Like it is like I'm gonna save that video forever. It will bring me so much joy.
Hey, we could play it here on the Battle Rhythm podcast,
and
we'll promote his business. Well, let's promote his business. What does it do?
While we're at it, Max Shirts and More in downtown Sherman has made all of those aggressively neon shirts you've seen us wear for the last how many ever seasons, but they've been in business 15 years, and he's doing a ribbon cutting and because he just recently rejoined the chamber, so he's doing his 15-year anniversary at the store in downtown on this Thursday at 11 a.m.
I am just glad that they are not hot to pink like they were last year.
Do you know that's the fastest we have ever sold out of a shirt was last year when they were pink? And I couldn't decide how it was going to go. I really made those. Let's be real. I made them more for me. Like I was like, just give me one.
If you ever see Sarah walking into or coming in with her little cart, and I kid you not, she's always wearing pink. Everything's always wearing pink. I'm like, oh look, it's. No offense. I'm like, it's Barbie. Yeah, Barbie's coming through because Barbie was always in pink. And Sophia's the same way. She's like, I love pink. Right? She gets her nails done. Oh, what do you want? Like, oh, pink. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. All right, just don't make it neon. She's like, okay. So she started getting like these tamer, pink colors and everything. So yeah. All right. Well, hey, I want to show you this. I don't know if you have ever seen this, but this, I have to give credit to a very good friend of mine, Bailey Bond from K10 News. She did a very, very good piece on one of the members for the VFW here in Sherman. And it's actually called the Tootsie Roll Man. So pay attention, because at the end of this, I am gonna ask you some questions about the Tootsie Roll Man. And
I've met him. He's lovely.
Be careful. He has many girlfriends. And you're just one of them. Great guy. Anyway, I'm gonna quiz you. So for the rest of us, Sarah's gonna be very, very prompt. She's gonna be watching this, and for the rest of us, we're gonna take a little break. We are going to come back and we're going to ask Sarah these questions. And remember, you are listening to the Battle Rhythm podcast here on Voice of the People, USA Radio and TV Network, BOC Digital, and also on Patriot Radio. And when we come back, Sarah is going to be under the testing microscope of Caesar, because I'm going to be asking her questions about this little piece. So thank you to Bailey Vaughn for allowing us to show this piece from KTN News. Again, this is named the Tootsie Roll Man.
As he approaches his 96th birthday, Jim Hahn still remembers intimate details about his time serving as a Marine in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. And he also remembers how it all started.
Mother wasn't going to sign. I told her, I said, if you don't sign this, I'll lie about my age. And she signed.
He was inspired to enlist when walking down the street at 16 years old. He tells K10 he saw some people messing with a Marine and his girlfriend.
They was doing anything they could try to make him mad. He told his girlfriend there to go down and wait for him at the red light at the end of the street there. He turned around and whipped all four of those guys.
A year later, he was off to San Diego for basic training. Han joined the occupation force in both China and Japan during World War II, which marks the only time in the history of Japan that it has been occupied by a foreign power. A bitter time these days, though. Gunnery Sergeant Han holds tight to the sweeter moments.
It's going into Japan, there, into town. I seen all these little kids running around there, and they looked like they was hungry and everything else. So I started in getting candy from our PX and taking it in there and giving it to the little kids. It got to where whenever I'd come inside the city limits, man, here come all these kids.
What he didn't realize at the time, candy would one day become his lifeline. In November of 1950, just a few months after the Korean War began, 8,000 fighters, mostly Marines, were trapped in the Chonjin Reservoir, surrounded by 120,000 Chinese soldiers. And you guessed it, Sergeant Han was one of those Marines.
If somebody told me this, I'd have thought of him as being a liar, because I did not think that it would get 90 degrees below zero. I seen guys just walking along, and all of a sudden I could stop walking, and they just did. They'd freeze to death while they was walking.
Freezing, barely hanging on to life. The Marines called for ammunition using their code word, Tootsie Roll.
I never will forget that. They got on the radio there and talking to them, said, send us some Tootsie Rolls. And they was talking about ammunition, a certain type of ammunition.
Well, the soldier on the other end of that radio took the message literally, and they dropped into the reservoir Tootsie Rolls.
Here's these 3 planes there coming out with these parachutes coming down there with Tootsie Rolls. It's supposed to be ammunition, but it's Tootsie Rolls. But if it hadn't been for them, a lot of us, including me, would probably starve to death.
Those little chocolate candies were the fuel that sustained the troops. All other provisions were frozen, so they survived on the chocolate.
It seemed impossible that they was there for any other reason than to save my life. I thank God many times the fact that I lived through all of it, didn't lose any arms or legs or anything out of way. I sat in this foxhole, and people all around me freezing. And some reason or other I didn't.
He says all he thought about was his next breath and how he would use it.
I don't know, I still think about it sometimes. I know that God saved me from it. Try to thank God 3 or 4 or 5 times a day about that.
Decades later, Sergeant Han literally holds on to that memory with a bucket of Tootsie Rolls made specifically for him with American flags after the company heard his story. Those Marines that made it out are now revered as the heroes of the Frozen Chosen. But this one calls Texoma home, and he chooses to spend his time right here in the Sherman VFW.
I feel like they're brothers. This, to me, is part of the military.
As this veteran reflects on a life of service most would never know, Han would do every second of it again. The few, the proud, the Marines. It was such an honor to be able to sit down with Jim, and I just want to say right here on the record, thank you for your service. Not only a World War II veteran, a 3-war veteran. He decided to just
so
keep going back. I know.
And you know, I had heard that, I knew that there was something involving Tootsie Rolls, but that was the first time I actually heard that full story, and that is so incredible.
And he's just walking around Texoma.
Oh, how cool.
Amazing, I know it.
All right, welcome back to the Battle Rhythm Podcast. I am Caesar, here again joined by Sarah McRae, the Tourism and Main Street Manager for the City of Sherman. And let me just tell you, Sarah, that you have a competition with Mr. Han, because he that day that interview was going on, Mr. Han was very friendly with Bailey. I think, and he was like, it was very charming. He was a very charming guy, obviously, and he knows he can get away with it because he's 96. I mean, come on. And it was just fun. It was very funny. And every time I see her, she's like, "Hey, how's Mr. Han?" Or "How's Jim?" I call him Mr. Han, right? Because he's older, obviously. But he's like, "Hey, how's Jim?" I'm like, "Jim." I'm like, "Jim." She's all, Tootsie Roll Man. I was like, "Oh, you mean Mr. Han?" I'm like,
He
"He's
always
fine."
comes out to the 9/11 remembrance ceremony that we do on the courthouse steps. Like
Yep.
he comes out to that, and so he always shares his story and
Exactly.
participates. But yeah, I was like, he's such a treasure. Like I can't believe he just lives here and like among us.
Exactly. All right, so I have to do a couple of shout outs. I'm going to shout out to my boy, Sherrod Conyers, who, congratulations, my friend. He actually was just elected as the junior vice commander for the state of Georgia for the VFW. So congratulations to him. I have known him for over 12 years now. I've known him since like 2009, so it's been crazy at the fact that we actually we hadn't seen each other for quite a while, and then I saw him last year in Kentucky when I went to the national convention for the VFW, and I was like, I know you, I know you from somewhere, and he was the very first. That was the very first time I was ever actually introduced to the VFW. It was when I was in the California National Guard, and that's when it happened. So I was like, in small world, right? So we, as soon as we came back, I was like, oh my gosh, it was awesome, but yeah, huge congratulations to him. Like I said, being the junior vice for the Department of Georgia, which is the entire state, is a huge deal. So congratulations to him. So he's on his way up to being the state commander here very, very soon in the next 3 years. So it's going to be fun. So congratulations to him. So cool. All right. So let's get back to are you smarter than a fifth grader? So we're going to go ahead and ask we're going to go ahead and ask Sarah some of these questions that on the book report. So hopefully she was taking notes and or taking mental notes of what we were talking about or what Bailey was talking about with Mr. Han. So all right. So Mr. Han is a 96-year-old veteran. How many wars did he serve?
3.
Right. 3 wars. Which is the one that he remembers the most?
Oh my goodness. Korean War?
The Korean War. He talked about the entire
Right?
time. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I don't know which one you remember, but the story was funny.
The story is for the
Okay.
Korean. I mean, it was the
Okay.
entire highlight of the show. Okay.
For sure.
What was the temperature that he could not believe it got down to?
Oh gosh.
Plus or minus 2. You can give it to me plus or minus 2.
-20. I don't remember. I'm
It was
sorry.
it was -90.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah.
I remember it sounding like extreme where it's like I don't experience that temperature. If people are freezing while
Ever.
they're
I know.
if they're just frozen and die while they're walking, that is not something I like
Yeah.
most people would ever experience. So that's really awesome.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. So, which is crazy. All right. So,
crazy.
the Tootsie Roll. Where does it come into play?
They dropped down actual Tootsie Rolls, thinking that's what they meant by the ammunition, but then people survived on them because they needed that. Everything else was frozen.
Right. So a little
That's his
tidbit
story.
on this. Exactly. A little tidbit on this. Okay. There's 2 of them, obviously. A tidbit is that they would actually take the Tootsie Rolls. They're this small, right? I wish I had.
Mhm.
I normally have a bunch of them because he gives them to us every time I see him.
He
So,
does.
the little Tootsie Rolls, what they would do is they would heat them up just enough. They would cut them in half and heat them up, and actually would patch the bullet holes that were on the wall.
That's the story he tells when you see him
Yeah.
in real life. Like, I know they
And
didn't share that one on
they
the news. But that's the story
immediately-
he shared.
They immediately hardened because it was so cold, but it would keep the wind from coming in from where they were at. So they were using that as a kind of like a shelter. So it was obviously, there's a reason why things happen, and that was his big reasoning on that. So it's crazy that he was able to survive on that stuff, and they were there for quite a long time. Okay, so do you remember how many Chinese troops there were?
I don't think I do.
100,000.
Okay.
Do you remember how many U.S. troops there were, both Army and
No.
Marines? 8,800. So they were very outnumbered.
Yeah.
So which is crazy at the fact that they were actually the U.S. Marines actually revere this battle as one of their biggest battles that they had, and one of the bigger successes. So It's very well known, and it's called the Battle of the Chosen Reservoir, right? The chosen frozen, because it was frozen, and only very many. And then the survivors are called the chosen few. So he's part of the chosen few. And when they had a couple of years ago, they had a what was it, an event where they actually brought up the ones that are actually the remaining chosen few, and he was the oldest one there. There were obviously some other ones because of the Korean War, right? But he was one of the oldest ones there. So that we are blessed here in Sherman to actually have 3 World War II vets still with us. So they're still around. I remember growing up, there was like the World War One was actually kind of their last, they were in their 80s, like how he is now. So World War One vets were actually, dying by the numbers at that point, and now I don't think there's any World War One vets left. But World War II vets are, they're now in those slim pickings. They're slowly but surely here, or leaving, right? And now it's the Korean War veterans that are actually that era. So it's just kind of goes in cycles. So it's definitely going into a cycle. So all right, well, you passed with a 70% and greater. So I'm going to give you a bonus round. So what is the Tootsie Rolls that he gets? Are they in the normal wrapper?
No, of course not. They're special for him in the American flag.
That's right. So the American flag is when the Tootsie Roll company actually helped the story, they actually gave him a full lifetime supply of.
He's special.
Exactly. So it's weird, right? So he's like, oh, they're gonna give him. So it's like he's kind of like a well-known celebrity around here, and if you ever see him in public, he will more than likely be wearing his Marine.
It's like he has them in his pockets all the time.
Yeah, and he will be in uniform most of the time. So he's always in that uniform. It's he loves wearing that uniform, talking about the whole thing. And if you guys are ever in get the chance to go to a VFW and spend some time in there, talk to the older guys. So those are the guys that have the stories. Most of the other ones are still pretty young and they're still kind of in their party phase, I should say. But the older ones are the ones that are actually there for things like that. And then a lot of people think that the VFW is just this old, gringy, type of thing where there's smoke, and it is, yes, the people smoke there still because it's a private club. People don't realize that, but it's open to the public. But it's not what it is, right? You just don't get hit with this wall of smoke all of a sudden because we have the filtration systems. But my point is that it's so much more than just a canteen. There's people that go there because they want to have that camaraderie. Can't say that 10 times fast. Camaraderie. And then they also go in there just because there's so many other things that we do. So legislative wise, and then also helping out the community. And one of the biggest pillars that we're supposed to be doing is also be servants of our local community, which is what we get involved in. That's why we get involved in. That's why I'm always volunteering and voluntold to help out on Thursday nights. So yeah, so there's your plug of servitude. Again, we never stop serving, so we always need to be doing that. So I remember that. So all right. See, I told you were very what's the word?
Apprehensive.
Yes, about the 2 hours. We're already an hour and a half into this.
I mean, but like normal. Sometimes when you do like an interview, it's like, gosh, you're lucky if you get like a few minutes to talk about whatever thing you've got coming up, and then it's like maybe 30 minminutes. But when you're like 2 hours, I was like,
and this has been.
What are we going to talk about? And you're like, it's a surprise. No, I'm just kidding.
I told you it was seamless, right? I mean, leave it up to the unprofessional guy who never prepares for a show. I never prepare for a show. I just know what you do, and I know what you are, and I don't know the details. So, like, I'm actually being more prying.
Well,
as
you
far
are
as,
in luck because all I do every single day is talk to people all day long. So this is just, 2 hours outside of the typical hour, but same old thing.
So now you're getting a free plug for the City of Sherman is getting a free plug. So remember this, Sarah. Okay, our radio side on our radio show, where we usually average about 750,000 listeners in over 98 countries. So right now we're probably being heard of in Russia. So somebody in Russia, in Siberia, is actually wondering, where the hell is Sherman, Texas? Well, I tell you what, come and find out. And there's a lot of tourism. If you want to go into her office, and she will
Just
tell you
stay
exactly
in
where to go.
Sherman, you know?
I'm telling you, we actually can become Siberia as well, because it gets cold as shit. It gets really cold, and yeah, exactly. You know, Snowmageddon, as they called it.
But we get all the seasons. That's the joy. We get all of them. Maybe a little more rain than I would like, but you know, it gives us drinking water and things like, you know, it's good. But also, our storm season is a little more than I would love. But I enjoy that we get to have all the seasons.
I did not enjoy the fact that the storm season actually ended up going all the way into June.
Yeah, it was a wet one.
Because for the Pam Tillis show, she was supposed to be outside and ended up being inside.
Well, and her show, like, technically could have been outside. I just think when people aren't from here, they don't realize how quickly our weather turns.
Yes.
And it was raining during her setup time, so I think she just didn't, like, her management looked out, were like, yeah, we're not setting up in that, like, in that rain. But the reality is, it was like well before showtime. It was clear. It's just they take so long to set up these shows. We have to make those decisions so early in the day. Yeah. So thankfully, that was only the third show I've ever had to move inside out of the 10 years of Hot Summer Nights. So, I mean, that's not so bad.
That is a very, very good record to show. You know what I mean? 10 years and you only 3 shows. I mean, you hold what, eight night shows?
Usually, about 8 a season for Hot Summer Nights.
So that's less than 10%.
Yeah, it's nice.
To be honest, so it's not bad.
I mean, it's usually just hot and outside. But,
hot, muggy, and I mean, somebody called it. Actually, you know what? One of the guys from Alpha One, he's like, man, it's like sweat. What was it? Humidity. No, he said humidity. I was like, oh my god, I have not heard that term forever.
I saw those poor guys because they came in like shirts, pants, and a jacket over, and so I saw them both looking at each other and like opening their shirt to show all the sweat. They were like, could I take my jacket off, or does it look too bad? Like, I saw, because I was sitting so close, I could see them talking to each other, and I was like, just take it off. Nobody will care. You know, like, nobody's gonna mind that you gave your, like,
you
don't
came to see the
out.
show. You came to see you sing and perform. I don't care about your outfit.
And they didn't look bad. Like, when they took them off, I was like, they looked fine. So
yeah, it was good. It was a great ensemble. But that ensemble they had on, it was made for inside, not for outside. I'm like, dude, you're in an oven, bro. Like, take it off.
Or New York, or like anywhere else. They just did not look ready for sure. Like, they did such amazing vocals. Like, the harmonies were everything you wanted them to be. Still all 4 original members. Like, lots of it. Great, perfect things. But man, those poor guys looked like they were about to pass out.
I was talking to a few of them, right? And I talked to the ones that actually were singing the high notes and everything. And I was like, man, you still hit those high notes? He's like, man, I try. He's like, it's hard now, and then I'm older. I'm like, oh, I know. I don't have the same range as I had before. I'm like, that's just crazy. Mm-hmm. But it was super awesome. All 4 of those dudes were really just down to earth, and they were really easy to talk to. And they spent a lot of time with the fans and the people that actually stuck around and wanted to kind of meet them. And they took the time, signed the autographs, took pictures, and it was just fun. And they actually signed Sophia's shirt. So
I saw that. That was so cute.
So she may need another shirt. So please save her one. I have to buy her another shirt.
Like, I don't even know if there's more kid sizes, but if there are, they'll be at the table next
yes, week. Please save me one. If you do see one, I'll pay for it, because she's gonna need one.
I know Don Felder did that to me. He was like, turn around and bend over, and then he signed my shirt. It was the first show of the season. I was like, no, I guess we assumed we wanted that signature for forever. But I mean, that was really, it's a rock. It's a rock star. Like, it's.
Did he say that to you? He really said that to you?
You could tell he enjoyed the reaction, like, from people. Like, he was funny. He was a funny guy. You could tell he was like lifelong rock star. Like,
that's hilarious. Turn around and over.
I was like, excuse me?
You're like, okay, here's the pen.
I was like, nobody was ready for that.
I know, right? Jeez. That's good. I mean, those are the little anecdotes that you like the people tidbits that people don't really get to see a lot of it, and
Oh,
to see how they actually are because they only see the like the performing part of it, and they don't really get to see the people that are inside. So, or sorry, the real people. So,
yeah.
being able to kind of like it's such an intimate setting, you really get to see them up front and up close. You know what I mean? Like, oh shoot, there it is. So. What is the earliest people can actually go in and actually set their chairs?
I mean, I don't encourage doing it a day before or something crazy, but I've seen it done. Like people have do that occasionally, like or people that work nights might come because sometimes when we get out there in the morning, I'm like, whose 6 or 7 chairs are these? This is wild. But for the most part, most people do it around probably like on their lunch break or something, and that's really normal. And we have so many of our people out there setting up all day long, like you'd kind of notice if something funny was going on, but honestly, it's such an honor system out there. Like, I mean, we have really kind, mostly normal people that live here that attend these concerts, and they're all kind of looking out for each other. So there's a lot of people that kind of sit in the same seats every week, and then there's also like a large amount of people that come out for like a different group for each genre. But there's probably, I would guess, like 20 to 30% of the people that just come out every week, no matter the lane the music's in. And I love that because like they're just trusting that we're bringing
Or the
them
heat.
awesome music. Yeah, but they're just in there to enjoy the good time. They're not like really like this is my favorite band of all time, but maybe they're just there to enjoy all of it. And I appreciate that because that's kind of how I feel about music. Like you want to just like enjoy whoever there is that week and yeah, just have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, Sarah, I am going to throw a curveball at you.
What's
All
that?
right. Yeah. Game on. Game on. All right. So, I have a segment that I do every week. It's called Rapid Fire Questions. All right. So, Rapid Fire Questions is brought to you by EGA Construction. So, with that, Sarah, stand by.
Rapid Fire Questions is brought to you by EGA Construction Services out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It is veteran-owned and operated with over 25 years of experience.
Rapid Fire Questions is brought to you by EGA Construction out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It is veteran-owned and operated by my good friend Lynn Toomer. So, with that, Sarah, Rapid Fire Questions is the shock part of our show. What we do here is we ask the questions that nobody ever asks you, and you have to answer them in a very, very fast manner. So I will give you a very quick example of what it is and how it is. So here's your example. Here's the sample question I ask everybody the same one. What is your favorite song?
Do normal people have an answer for this?
Okay, fine. What is your favorite book?
I'm just saying that's like asking people what their favorite child is. I'm not sure I have a favorite song. Like it depends on the day or the year.
Okay, favorite band.
So many. I mean, I have had a love of Rob Thomas for like most of my life. So
Okay.
that's a boring answer, but Matchbox 20.
I'll take that. But see, so it's to shock you, one, and two, we're gonna have to get a little bit better with the time. That's what it is.
No,
That's what it's called, rapid fire questions.
I'm gonna be so bad at this,
All right.
this game, but I blew all of my, not all of it, but a lot of my high school graduation money on Incubus tickets. And so if that tells you anything about me, but I love music. I don't know. It's hard to choose a favorite. Are they living? Are they dead? I don't know. Like,
did you forego going to prom to go to Incubus?
No, but okay, so several years our prom or our final like dance fell at the same time as Edge Fest here. And I already told you my love of 90s alt rock. Edge Fest was a thing back in the day that highlighted. Yes, we went with like, I mean, we were like in a mosh pit and we had to hurry back to make it to like a dance. And I think we missed it one year. Anyways, it was so fun though, but we always had such a big group of friends. It was really important to us to go to that for like forever. So.
Oh, that's
Good times.
I remember.
Okay,
my
I will
first.
try to be faster. But these are really hard questions to answer quickly.
See, but they're not hard. They're just super easy. It's just okay. So it's really not. So,
Okay.
all right. What is your guilty pleasure?
I mean, we do karaoke at the VFW. Does that
There.
count?
See, how hard was that? Because karaoke is a guilty pleasure. Because like nobody else.
And
like,
Bravo. I've told you of my love of like trash TV.
Yes, trash TV. Okay. What is your favorite TV show?
Southern Charm.
Favorite movie?
Oh my gosh, Love Actually.
Good pull. That's a great movie, but that's a Christmas movie though.
I love Christmas.
No, wait. Is it?
It
Is it the Christmas movie?
depends on who you are. If you feel like it's a Christmas movie, or if you feel like you could watch it all year long, that is a personality choice.
Love Actually is the one with Hugh Grant, right?
Yeah, people tend to watch it at Christmas.
Yeah. Well, because it is
not.
Christmas.
It is not like a traditional Christmas movie, but it
it's
takes
not.
place at Christmas.
Yeah. God, that movie was actually pretty funny. The entire thing
is.
was pretty damn funny. So, all right. What is your one regret?
Oh gosh. When you're young and you don't really understand what your parents are going through, you're kind of like more selfish in your own little world.
Uh-huh.
Just a little bit of stuff from my youth. I wish I could have had this, the way you see things now. I wish I had a little more of that, like when you were younger.
Because you knew everything.
Yeah. Sorry, my cat just jumped on the table, and so if you saw shifting, it's like my obese cat over here. So, sorry about that.
So you knew everything at 17, 18.
I did. I knew it all, and I wish I would have, maybe, just understood my parents' point of view a little. Had some grace for the family. So.
Right. What is one place that on your bucket list that you want to go to?
Costa Rica.
What is one place that you do not want to go to?
Oh, I really didn't like El Paso. No offense to anyone. I went there once and I really wouldn't like to go back.
El Paso.
I mean, I lived in Lubbock for 13 years. I love Lubbock, but man, I made one trip when Tech was playing UTEP, and it was the frightening experience. Like, I just wouldn't want to go back there.
You should have gone to Chico's Tacos.
And we go to Mexico any chance I get. Love Mexico. I just don't love El Paso. Like, I just specifically.
Well, yeah. El Paso is.
It's like no man's land. I don't know. It's like a scary little. I don't know. Maybe it was just the parts we went to. Maybe it was because I was young. I just didn't enjoy El Paso. But
my friend Sherrod is actually texting me, and he says, "I love El Paso." He says, "Chico's Tacos." Chico's Tacos is the shit. I was like, no, Chico's Tacos gives you the shit. It's just different. Sometimes. Yeah.
I'm sure there are other places. I was just trying to think of a place I would realistically be like, I don't really want to go there again. And I don't know about anywhere else because, like, I'm always willing to try a place I've never been. So, I don't know.
What is one of your favorite places you've been to?
Oh, gosh. So, I loved Mazatlan, Mexico, but it might be more touristy now, but that was my only spring break trip I ever did in college, and I just loved it. It was such a neat place. Like, if I could just go live somewhere and, like, hide I don't know, that would just
never went to Panama City, like, or Destin?
It was so beautiful. No, I mean, with my family when I was younger, but the only actual, like, college experience that.
Was it Daytona?
I got my degree in biochemistry. I was pre-dental. I mean, I was
what?
Up.
You're a biochemistry major? I didn't know that.
I was just out there. I was out there nerding it up, and so I wasn't going on.
Breaking news! Sarah McRae is a biochemistry. I didn't know. I did not know that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Yeah, with a minor in communications.
No, chemistry.
I did not know that.
Double letdown.
That just blew me away. I'm sorry. That should have been a rapid fire question. I'm like, oh, what would you major in? What? Oh, god dang. No, don't be sorry. It's just shocking I was not expecting that. I could have said like management, right? Like management's one a big one. Since you do tourism, I thought like hospitality. Tourism and hospitality is a big one.
I worked for the hotels before, like when I first came back to Sherman in 2015. I worked there about a year in hotel management, and it gave me some experience, but that side of hospitality was not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I was on the sales side of it too, so it was a little bit different.
Yeah, see, sales is kind of hard. It's like
it just never sleeps. Those hotels never sleep.
Yeah, we leave the light on for you. Shut up. That's the worst one.
It's too exciting. Yeah, it's too exciting. But no, it's great. Appreciate those people.
If there was one person that you could bring back, right, and you could actually have one day with that person, and who would that be?
Oh, my grandmother. I know that's a sad answer, but like, yeah, she just never got to meet Slade. She missed so much good stuff. Like, it just anyway. I won't be a downer, but that'd be so cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. No, all right. So we'll keep it with the same, but with somebody that you admired and or a musician or an artist or somebody that you admired that you could bring back and spend the day with them. Who would that be?
Chris Cornell. I mean, like if it's a famous person, he was like my absolute all-time favorite voice. Like I always ranked him in my top 5 voices. He was like big loss, like for
Spoon Man,
music. Like
Temple of the Dog,
magical voice that just like.
Who did you like better? Who'd you like better when he was with Temple of the Dog or Soundgarden?
I mean, for me,
or Chris Cornell,
both, but Soundgarden. But I feel like more of his songs I have like still are just Chris Cornell recording like rando songs for funsies. I don't know. I love his voice. Sun Shower was like on a soundtrack. I loved that song. It's like super underrated. But anyway.
Yeah. Here I am stealing bread because they find me overwhelmed.
I know. Of course, there's the ones that everyone knows. But yeah, Sun Shower. So beautiful. Anyways.
And we're gonna have to do that one. We're gonna have to do that one karaoke. I'm going hungry.
I know.
Yeah. I'll have to do the Eddie Vedder part because he doesn't ever enunciate his words, so I'm pretty good at that. So like I feel like every time I sing a karaoke song, I'm always missing words. I'm like, it's like it reminds me of that movie Ted.
I knew what you were saying. They just make fun of every 90s band in that way. Like Creed and Pearl Jam, all of
Creed, yeah. Actually, so I saw Creed before they got big, and then after I saw them, like 2 months later, I kid you not, that whole album, their first album, like went huge. I say the same about somebody else. Like you wouldn't know this, but I actually grew up listening to like punk rock, and like I'm not talking like punk rock, like NoFX and Guttermouth, and also like it was my senior song. It was called Brohim. Pennywise. So I was like listening to like these like punk rock, right? During the 90s. And I saw who was it? It was wasn't NoFX. It was Guttermouth at UCR in UC Riverside at this like I was 16, 17 when that happened, and we saw him at the at this bar, like local bar there, like at the college, and I mean I remember it was like I had like the whole mosh pit and everything. I grew up like with that the punk rock style type of thing, type of music, and then you end up going into the summer of ska of 96 or 97. I grew up with that too. So I remember like Real Big Fish and Mighty Bosstones and all this stuff.
Like the Clueless soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. As if exactly. So that was exactly what it was, and I loved like that. That's my jam. My wife on the other hand, she's like she was raised on freaking Tupac and Biggie. I'm like, damn, like what a contrast. I'm like, not that I don't like a good, Chronic, 2004 with Dre and Snoop, but like honestly, that was probably the best that hip hop had at that point in time. And honestly, there's nothing that can compare now. I'm like all these groups now, like they're crap. I just don't. It's not even rap. It's just mumble rap. I just don't see the point in them. And I'm like,
it is a different vibe, but I mean, I appreciate it all for what it is. But yeah, there's something obviously superior about that 90s rap. And then a lot of early 2000s was still fun because I was in college. I remember it being a good time. So
Yeah. I think maybe there was one, like maybe Nelly.
I like Nelly.
Yeah, see, but it was like early 2000, 2000. Well, actually, more like 2010.
He was the tail end of my high school time, so late
Yeah.
90s, I guess.
Exactly. So it is what it is. But yeah, so that's where I grew up listening to punk rock. And then obviously I heard a lot of different bands because I was a drummer, so like, it just drove me into that. And listening to like Rush and Sting and Led Zeppelin, right? Because John Bonham is, for any rock drummer that you ever ask anything, ask them 2 questions or ask them a question. Yes, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna dare you for the next show, not for this one, but for Stone Temple Pilots. Ask the drummer who his 2 who influenced him and who he listens to and who he tries to emulate playing drums, and he's gonna tell you 3 people. These 3 people. Either he's gonna tell you Buddy Rich, he's gonna tell you John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, or he's gonna tell you Neil Peart from Rush. And I bet you that one of those 3 is gonna be named at all. Maybe Purdy. I can't remember his first name, but he's called the Purdy Shuffle. But if you ask the drummer that question, he's going to come up with one of those 3.
Man, you want me to say normal things to these people when I meet them, but like the reality of it is like usually it's like you're rushed, you're meeting them, and you're like, oh, I'm so excited you're here. Like I wish I'd said something normal to most of these people, but like.
So I tell
think
you what.
To All For One, I was like, I slow dance to all your songs. Like I said, I was like, I don't know. I said something weird to them. I say something weird to everyone. So
Okay, so I tell you what. I will ask them a question, but you have to be rather present because I told you the 3 that they're going to say. So I will ask them, be like, hey, man, great show. And I'll be like, I need to ask you a question. Who was your biggest, like, who influenced you to play drums and who do you try to emulate? And I'll tell you exactly that they're going to tell you that. So.
Wow. We always like when they give us the opportunity to to meet them or take a picture or anything because after COVID, that just wasn't as promised as it used to be. Like meet and greets used to be a given. And like after that, they were like, we did away with them and we don't really care if we bring them back. Like most people were like happy, relieved to not do it. So we're always really grateful when the band is like gracious or like wants to stay and meet fans or stay there and sign stuff. Like that's really cool. So not everybody does that anymore. It's not a given the way it used to be. So
the one I really, really liked last year was, or the year before, no, last year, the Gin Blossoms. That was a great show.
Too. Yeah,
and
that was a good one.
Super. And all of the original band members are still on there, which is great.
I was like, Gin Blossoms was great, and that was one I'd pushed for or like hoped we could do for a long time, and that was good. That ended up being our fall show. I think it was like the year before last, but it was good.
Yeah, it was awesome. So,
I kind of wish it would have been a regular summer show, just because I don't feel like it got a good enough turnout.
No, it didn't, but it was still a great show.
Because I think we did a Saturday that year for our fall show, and I think we just were competing with too many things in the fall, so that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. So my buddy Sherrod, we were talking about R&B groups, right, and hip hop and stuff, and he says, I agree. So he agrees with what we said about like that was the best era for R&B, and he says, A Tribe Called Quest, Mos Def, The Roots. He says I can go on and on. I'm like, but yeah, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? Yeah, and what was the? They did that song "Jump Around." God, what was it?
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill. Thank you. Yes, I actually.
Sorry, sometimes I told you I'm always asleep by now, so you're just like that.
But you know what? For being asleep, you actually are not asleep, which is great. You're very engaged. Like I have 7 minutes with you left because I promised you 2 hours, so I have 7 minutes here. So
no, just teasing you.
I know. So Cypress Hill is from LA. So when I was working for a big cable company at that time, that actually owns the Dodgers now, owns the rights to play the Dodgers games out there, not naming Spectrum or anything like that. It's on that Spectrum. I used to work for Spectrum. Well, I would border the LA county. So I would go there, and it's called like Thousand Oaks, Westlake, and stuff. And there was a little place that would pull in right off the 101 freeway. We would pull in, and there was like I think like a Taco Bell and Jack in the Box and something like that. And we actually pulled in, and there was one of the members of Cypress Hill that was there, just hanging out, having lunch or whatever, because that's where they lived. They lived in the area. I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, all of a sudden, but they were older, because at that point, this is 10 years ago. At that point, they were already in their, 50s and stuff. And I was like, okay, because they were, back in the 90s, they were already in the 30s, late 30s or whatnot. So, but it was cool. It was cool to see. So, that was it. All right, one play. Let's get back to our rapid fire questions. We kind of like.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't know there were more left.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty. We just always get this.
Tangent.
This always happens to me in these questions, because we get in these tangents and we just go everywhere. So it just it's just kind of happens. But what is the one? You already talked about. All right, internationally, what is one place you don't want to go to?
Oh gosh. I mean, today, like Iran, Iraq, I don't know, anywhere there's bombs in the air, no thank you. Like, let's keep people safe. I don't know. That's terrifying. But yeah, I don't have a place that I'd rule out forever. I don't know.
All right. Would you travel to like Vietnam?
Yeah, I think that'd be super cool. I mean, like, I'd love to go to Thailand. Like, that just looks amazing. I've had friends go there.
Thailand would be a good place to go.
I can think of a million places I would love to go, because I don't really get to go to a lot of them. So I have a huge bucket list of places, but I don't really have anywhere that I would rule out forever. Yeah, I was like, just maybe situationally, but not like forever. I feel like most of the world is so beautiful and holds things I've never seen that are different from here. So I'd be excited to experience that.
When you travel, and you've traveled internationally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever see, and just kind of observe, right? So the next time you travel, maybe you'll observe this, and this is, again, I traveled a lot extensively when I was going around. So, do you ever notice that Americans, as travelers, they have this sense of like entitlement for some reason?
Mm-hmm.
They want to be like, oh, I speak English. You can always speak English. Like, dude, you need to assimilate.
You went there, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you are the one that traveled there. Dude, yes, like you expect them to, when they come here, to speak to you in English.
Yeah.
Have the same courtesy, man. Like, don't be rude.
Oh yeah, that's not a fun thing for Americans to be known for. Yeah, it's a little bit cringy.
Yeah, it's that. I hate that. That's the one thing I hate about American society. It's like always, it's very centralized. Like, it's me. Like, no, man. Like, you travel there, you need to assimilate, right? Not to.
And I tease that we're like not as smart as other places, because I feel like, I don't know. I have an uncle that lives in Germany, for example, and they speak a lot of different languages from a really early age. Like, they're teaching them 5 languages. Yeah. Like, when they're finished with elementary school, they know other languages.
So behind. We
do not do that. And it's wild to me that like we could be doing that for our kids, and offering all these different, things for them to carry on and use in their lives. It would be nice, but
we probably have one of the worst educational systems out there, because again, yeah, you're right. I mean, look at our first lady; she speaks 5 languages herself, right? Baron Trump, his son, or their son, actually speaks just about the same amount, and I'm not saying
that speaks a lot to like the privilege. Like, here, it's a privilege to get to that, not a basic, part of your education system. It's like, if you had a lot of money, you get to learn those things here. And that's, even swimming, like basic things here, I feel like you almost have to have that privilege to be able to be given that gift. And that's unfortunate.
So one couple last questions here. So we just talked about that. So if you were president for one day, what would you change?
Oh gosh, I don't think I would want that burden. That's not something. It's a lot of tough stuff.
You know what I would change?
I mean, healthcare would be better, but I don't know. There's no, I say this a lot about a lot of things, but like, sometimes if there were a simple fix, somebody would have already, like, sometimes things are more complicated and you have to have the brain to work through those problems. And I'm thankful that people want to sign up to do that. But also, I don't know that it always ends up being the people that know the most about it that get to do that. But yeah, just thankful it's not me.
I think I would change the fact on how information is dispersed, right? On things that like we people need to really just educate themselves and learn about a topic before they make a decision, right? Or they start speaking about the topic, right?
It's hard. There's no trusted source of information the way there used to be for people, and that is tough.
Yeah. So that's as political as I get on the show, and it's just things that I notice or observe, right? Because it's just things that our society goes through and everything. So it's just one of those things. But Sarah, we have come to the end of the show. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know your grandma time is ready as far as the fact that you're going to turn into a pumpkin. Not that you're.
I'm like a little old lady in a 40-year-old body. So
you're the little old lady from Pasadena. That's the song that Dean Martin used to sing.
Boys wrote it about. Yeah,
that's
like
right.
They wrote it for me.
That's right. Little surfer, little one. Anyway, yeah. So that's it. But I do have a parting gift for you. You get to spend some time with. You are the winner of our backstage pass for the Hot Summer Nights. So you get to introduce the band.
Wow.
You're the winner. So congratulations to you.
So excited. I really am. This is going to be a great show. So if anybody's watching that's in our area, they should come.
I sent out the same link today that I gave you for you to come and join the show to Sean Teeman. I'm like, get on this show. And he never responded. So when you see him tomorrow or the next day, be like, dude.
I actually think he's out of town, and not to like share his personal or like his business. I don't know if it's business or personal, but we're supposed to film we usually film on Tuesday afternoon for Main Street with the Mayor, and he was unavailable. So I think he's traveling. So
he bailed on you. Just say it.
No, he warned me well in advance. He just said I can't make Tuesday. I'm traveling. So sorry.
Which is, I mean, hey, he's allowed. He's a man. He's allowed to have big. Exactly. Like just like you and me. Like you're like my wife. She hates taking vacation time. I mean, you're a little bit different because you sometimes you can't take vacation time. But my wife's like, I'm not taking vacation time for that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll take it. And then she gets mad. Why are you off? I'm like, I took vacation. I was like,
I hoard mine for my Christmas recharge and occasionally take another a trip.
And then like the other thing too, like sick time. You're banking sick time. You get sick time. Like, dude, you're sick. Don't go to work. Take the sick time, and that's what they pay for. I mean, it is.
But then they pay you if you don't use your sick time. So there's that.
Would you rather have a mental health day during the week?
I mean, sometimes I'll just take a random, like if I need the vacation day or something, then I would just take it that way. But
I am in the business of sometimes I'm so overwhelmed and stressed out for the week. I'm like, or the fact that you're not feeling good at all, like honestly suffering from migraines and things of that nature. You're like, dude, I can't go to work. I can't hardly see right now. Like I'm seeing just black all over, and I can only see a foot in front of me. Those are the days I'm like, I'm taking a day off. Like, don't go to work sick. Like, if you're gonna be,
you should.
You know what I mean?
Take the time.
That's what it's there for you to be sick. So like, I don't take advantage of it. Like of things like that because like I'm sick. Like I legitimately when I don't go, it's like, hey, I'm not feeling good, or I didn't sleep the night before, or because suffering from nightmares and all the other crap that comes with it. So I was like, no, I'm not sleeping. I'm not gonna be productive. I'm just not gonna be there 100%. Like, why am I gonna do that? So anyway, Sarah, it has been a pleasure for you to for us to have you on the show. Next time I see you, or next time you want to come on, let us know. You are now a friend and family of the show. You have 100% rights of actually coming in And I want to share with you, I actually have a very cool guest coming on up in the next couple of weeks. I have a Medal of Honor recipient, the daughter of a Medal of Honor recipient, Roy Benavides. His daughter is going to be here on June 8th, I believe. July 8th. She's going to be my guest, and we'll be talking about her book that she wrote about her father, Roy Benavides. She's going to be sharing with us what it was like growing up with him. Because he passed away of a illness in 91. I want to say 91 or 2, something like that. But yeah, so his story is incredible. Is a Vietnam vet, Medal of Honor recipient. She's going to be here and talking about his life, his legacy, and what he brings. So that's going to be super cool. And then I also have a couple of other guests that are going to be on as well. I actually have her book. I'm going to pull her book up real quick because it is through, if I can find my Kindle, remember Kindle. I'm not getting paid anything by the way for that small what do you call it? Plug. Yeah, thank you. I just spaced it right now. I'm like, what the hell am I talking about? Anyway. Yeah, so I don't have it with me. Dang it. See what happens when that happens. Anyway, we're gonna be on, and I'll have it next week though for sure because I have it written down at work. I have all my calendar at work because that's usually where I spend most of my time. So yeah, that's why. But yeah, it's gonna be good. So Roy Benavides, the life and legacy of that man. His daughter's gonna be here next on July 8th. So next week we are coming back live 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. And Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you had fun, and I hope your apprehensions were calmed down. And that you enjoyed being part of the show today. And like I told you, it was gonna be super easy. 2 hours just kind of goes by super quick.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, no problem. Thanks for agreeing to come on. And if tomorrow, I'm sorry to those that work with Sarah if she's in a bad mood. That is my fault. Please apologize to Travis as he's probably going to deal with you tonight and tomorrow morning. So tell him I owe him several beers and some shots. So courtesy of the red, white, and blue. So with that, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Like I said, you are listening to the Battle Rhythm podcast here on Voice of the People, USA Radio and TV Network, BUC Digital, and Patriot Radio. And very, very soon, we're going to be coming. We're going to be on another platform called Connect to Your City. And we're going to have our own, very, very own channel. So thank you guys so much. So Sarah, thank you again. We will see you this Thursday at the park with Eli Young Band. They will be here at 7:30-ish. So go out there to downtown, support their businesses, and we'll be out there. And hopefully I don't know. I might take my microphone. I might do some interviews. I don't know. I haven't done in the last couple of weeks. I've just been busy and lazy, so it's not a good combination. And sometimes I just want to enjoy the show. I don't want to work. I don't want to work. Great song. All right. Well, thanks so much, Sarah. We'll talk to you soon. And you guys remember, we'll be back next week, every Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern. Thanks so much for joining us. And I bid you adieu. And remember, keep serving. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching. As we wrap up today's show, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Your support and engagement means the world to us, and we hope you found today's content insightful and entertaining. This episode, along with all previous shows, is available on all major media platforms. Whether you prefer to listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watch YouTube, we got you covered. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review to help us reach more listeners just like you. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Connect with us on social media, where you can join us in our conversation and stay updated on the latest news and episodes. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you once again for being part of the Voice of the People, USA Radio, and TV Network. We look forward to bringing you more exciting content in our upcoming episodes. Until next time, take care.